Dudes and dudettes, I am so excited to bring you an X-Men Next Dimension flying tutorial. I've never explored this in the game at all, and it's a shallow mechanic, but it is really fun to explore. It's been really fun exploring and figuring out what makes it tick. So let's get down to brass tacks. Only 6 characters have this: Storm, Jean, Storm, Phoenix, Dark Phoenix, Sentinel Beta, Magneto, and is that it? Is there another flyer? I think there's another flyer. We'll get to them. Oh, and Rogue. So there's 6 characters who have it, and you access it by hitting L2 on the PlayStation 2. You can fly for about 10 seconds, and I think this is just like Jean's level 3, man. Like, this is kind of annoying. Like, if you don't have a way to like to I guess, like, if you don't have a way to pin somebody down, you can really go kind of nuts with this. There's no you can't block, it should be noted, and you don't have access to your full suite of attacks. You don't even have access to your jump attacks like this. You actually only have grounded strings. So check this out. Storm is flying. She gets access to her 111. She also stupidly gets access to her back 2. So check this out. And you can just infinite. You have access to your forward and back dash on the ground, but you can't run. And you have access to ground supers. Yeah. So you actually have access to her grounded level 2 in the air and her grounded level 1, her lightning strikes, which frankly I think is awesome. I think it is so freaking cool that you get to call down lightning on fools from in the sky. Like, that is very cool. Now, the problem being, not all these characters are created equal. So Rogue has very little combo possibilities, no special moves, whereas, Storm has everything, man. She has this long-range stun. Excuse me. She has her 111. She can toss projectiles. She can toss homing projectiles from the upper from the upper corners of the screen. Like, if you can't get to her, man, this is annoying. You can always counter these. Do an air counter. But yeah, there's a lot of things. But the coolest bit is you can combo into this. This is mostly for swag. Something like this. Into jump 111. Again, you can just do jump 111. You could just do that on the ground. There's no reason why you have to do it in the air. It is going to be tricky. It's the juice is not worth the squeeze. I'm going to get it's just not. It's you have to do an instant jump fly and then, do that. Now, is it cool? I think it's been cool to explore. Now, there are some tricks. There are some cool things you can do with this. I do think that it's mostly a kind of a gimmicky, runaway tool. So that super, her grounded level 2, actually does more damage than her flying level 2. So that does 69, so it does 7k, whereas her grounded one does it does the same amount of damage. Maybe it's Magneto. I think Magneto's does more. So we'll go over that in a bit. But there's nothing that you can do in flight that you can't do grounded. So there's really no reason to do this. Storm also, they kind of tricked out Storm. She's one of the only characters that can get cancels. So this is 2 into down forward 2 for lightning. It's not super great. You can just do it. It's not any better than doing it on the ground, But you can. And again, not every character is created equal. Storm has some great stuff. Phoenix has some nuts stuff. But everybody else kind of not a lot. And Rogue is the worst because it has the worst of it. It's actually kind of a shame. So stuff like this, you can only follow up with supers. Actually, I don't even think that works. Okay, so that does work from stun. But then you get access to this from stun, and it doesn't work. So there's some weird sort of technicalities in from this. What is cool, and another thing that is sort of good about this is some characters actually get um, they get it doesn't look like it should combo, but you actually get CCR. Magneto gets CCR. So if you were able to land a jump in, you can go into flight, which is really neat. Uh, Storm also has she has, what is this, 1-3? So she can do this, and if you guys have seen my most recent combo, let's see, we can do something like this. She actually can like just do her infinite, and she can. This girl can actually do her infinite until flying ends, and she can keep it up. She can. I wasn't close enough, but you can actually keep doing that. So like she can infinite you even more. Storm again has probably some of the best. She has her down back two, her homing balls, which is kind of funny to say. She has her single ball. She has her lightning strike. So like this makes her a very competent zoner from a very tricky area. Obviously, Cyclops shuts this down with his up optic blast and his horizontal air blast. You know, anyone with a super, a projectile super, can knock you out of this because again, you can't block. Now, I think it's funny. Let me read something to you guys really quick. This tickles me because the X-Men Next Dimension guide. Of course, if you're writing a guide and they give you the inside scoop, you don't want to shit on their game. But it's just kind of funny. Flying, blocking is disabled during flight, yet attacking and movement are overpowering to compensate. There's no damage buff. There's no nothing. You're just in the air doing these like sort of piecemeal attacks. Like they're not even, they're not even normal attack strings. You'll notice here, like we have forward 2. Actually, we'll just show. We have forward 2-2. You'll get, that's 4-4. You get 3-3. You can kind of get directional inputs sometimes if you're lucky. Like you can actually get her stun string, which is forward 1-3, forward 1-3-1. So like for whatever reason you can get that while flying. There's no real rhyme or reason. Now I do want to show off. So Storm has the pick of the litter. Like she has a very good set of flying moves, but again, even the best flying moves don't really matter because you could do the same thing with less effort from the ground. Is kind of how I think about it. So I do want to show off Phoenix because Phoenix and Dark Phoenix have infinites, pseudo infinites. Now, what I mean by that, you'll see. It is so jank. Like, just like why? Like, why is this a thing? So let me just let me show you. There you go. Okay, it's forward. This is an infinite until they have the time down, and it also combos into confusion. Do you guys see that? She can combo into confusion from the air. What makes this so powerful, and I actually think Phoenix is probably one of the only cases, Phoenix and Dark Phoenix, these guys are probably one of the only ones I would say is they could use this as like optimal tech. Let's turn our supers off. And this works better with Dark Phoenix because Dark Phoenix has a damaging level 3, whereas Jean does not. Jean just gets confusion and she gets empathy shell. So let me just show this off real quick. All right, we have to. I want to show the meter gain from this because I want you to just look at how much meter she builds in this combo. So I know that combo dropped, but you can build 3 meters. And then if you're Dark Phoenix, actually, let's just go to Dark Phoenix because she has almost the exact same moveset as Phoenix here. You can actually build an entire thing. So you can do off of a jab. Dark Phoenix has, so if you punish with a jab, you can get 3 meters. off of a pseudo infinite, and do 20,000 damage. So let's just. All right, this might take a little bit, but I think it's worth showing off. Okay. Kind of gotta get it like a cadence, a rhythm. So you see what I mean, though? You can either do that super, and she actually gets access to 2 level 3s. So you need the level 3 meter here. But, like, it's nuts. It's nuts that this is possible. So, all right, let's try this out again. All right. Here we go. Notice that, like, again, we can sort of 20,000 damage. So I actually think this is a legitimate strategy for a Phoenix player. You're not looking at that much damage unless you do CCR, and then you're actually doing damage. You're not building as much meter because you don't build as much meter off of air normals as you do air specials. So you actually build a significantly more amount of meter. So that took what, like 6 bolts there. To do the same in air attacks, right? Like it doesn't even come close. Like not even close. So this I think is actually a great strategy for Dark Phoenix and Phoenix players. But again, she doesn't have access to a whole bunch of other like good attacks. She's stuck in the air. She can do this. What this style is for her is it's definitely throwing her projectiles for shooting those little phoenixes. So again, like she doesn't have like most of them have like, again, basic strings. This like you can do this with her on the ground. You get the first 1/1. You can't do anything else. Oh, wait, what? Okay, so apparently, so I literally just there's no guide to tell you what you can do, but apparently in flight you can do her stance. Like what? Okay, sure. Like we'll take that. That's amazing. So we learned something new just now. That's so fun. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do in flight, but again, is that good? Not really. You can do it, but is it good? Is this good? Like absolutely not. Unless it has crazy frame advantage and you can follow up somehow. Like maybe you could land, let's see if we can land like her. Okay, so like it combos. But again, why are you doing that? What's the point? I don't know. So I don't think it's particularly good. Now, Magneto, like I feel like every character has like a little something, except for Rogue. Let's see. So what we're gonna change our player to Magneto. I actually want to show something out with Magneto I think is really cool. So Magneto actually has a special, and this doesn't look like it's going to combo, but that's because it's CCR. So Magneto actually has, if you do a jump in, so that the combo counter reset, as did the damage scaling, that is inescapable. You'll notice again, I have the dummy, or excuse me, I have block set to auto. You cannot escape that. It automatically, there you go. Now he actually gets, so this is the only time where I think a stun in the air is a good idea. Because then you can, so he actually gets access to 1-3 forward 3, which is a stun. So like you could do something like, your jump in, go down, and then like land your level 1. You could, there's not a ton you can do after that stun because you are pretty far away and you do have to drop down. Let's see, supers max. Okay, so let's try this again. we need to... But, you know, if you... There's other stuff you can do from there. You can air seek, you know, if you want, and continue the damage. Like that is, I think, a legitimate strategy for Magneto. He also, like, he has access to some stuff. He can do this, but it feels like a lot of the recovery frames on stuff is really bad in the air. But again, he doesn't get access to this, and he actually, Magneto has access to his level 1 super on the ground, which does, let's actually, I want to test to make sure. So this one does 74, and in the air, it does 70, or 7k. So that actually does do more damage, and he gets access to, he gets access to this, but he also gets access to his projectile shield. So this is kind of good, only because if you're trolling, like, this is the best with punish tool in the game. The second you see someone do anything, you just do this. You just send them flying in the air. So Magneto has it okay. He doesn't have much outside of this. You know, like, he doesn't have a lot of stuff outside of that. He can do a couple of projectiles, I think. Yeah, so he can do his projectile game. But again, he doesn't have a strong projectile game in the first place. All very reactable, jumpable, whatever. So yeah, he doesn't have very much. He can strangely do this in the air. I mean, why not, I guess. But he actually, like, again, everything's better on the ground. So if you were to land something like this, sure, you don't get the CCR, but is that okay? I mean, you're gonna reset damage scaling here anyway with your CR. Like, you know, it's just the risk reward to doing that. That's purely for swag, as far as I'm concerned. You can, again, troll from the far side of the screen if you want. He does have moves that go full screen, but, you know, for me, it just, like, it doesn't seem worth it. Like, you could just jump and do this. You just jump and shoot at dudes. You know, it does, like, for me, flight isn't a necessity for these characters. I think, like, if you were to do it, you know, it does allow for some fairly quick movement. So, you know, if you need to get out of a tough situation, you can make it harder to hit you. But is it good? Not particularly. Let's take a look at, so we've looked at Storm. We've looked at Phoenix and her and Dark Phoenix's infinites. And then let's look at Sentinel Beta now. Yeah, Sentinel Beta just doesn't have a lot. And I'm so sad that Rogue doesn't have anything. Rogue actually has, like, airborne supers. But she can't do much with them. So Sentinel B has access to her projectile shield for whatever reason, as well as her forward 2 out of that. So, like, that's kind of cool. She also has this string here. I think it's, which is, again, fine. But you can't get anything off of that. Like, if you were to do this, you can't land your supers. Oh, she has access to this and her damage power-up. So this might be something worth doing. If you do something like this. And then, you know, do something like this, and then, like, maybe there's a good way in flight to sort of set this up. Like, let's see. We don't actually want to go up into the air. Is this, like... I'm basically trying to think of, like, easier ways to set up this install. Nah, like, that's not any easier or better. I mean, I guess you could get it off. She has access to, again, this string here, which is actually, like, a pretty fun string to, like, land. Oh, I'm just trying to go down. Sorry, you have to... It's also a little difficult to control. So that's a cool string to hit. But again, you can do it on the ground. boom. You don't need to do it in the air. She has access to her beams, or she has access to these ones and this one. So she can zone, competently at least a little bit. Um, but the notations have been changed. So this is back, light punch, and back hard punch. So there's not really a lot. Oh, and I guess she gets that's back circle, and then she has her projectile shield. So she gets her grounded level 2 super, but you can't do anything after it. So if you do it like this, you can pull off multiples if you are quick enough, right? So she loses a little bit there too. Frankly, like, I don't think this character excels in the air. She only has one reliable stun here. So like, why, back 2-2? Like, what are you gonna do with this? You can do that on the ground, right? You can't air seek. Like, why? It looks sick. Don't get me wrong. It actually does look sick. Like if you were to do it off something like this. Yeah, like this. Let's see. I think there's a like that. I think that looks really cool. But it's not good. It's not good enough that she can sort of float around over here and throw meaningless projectiles, especially since a lot of her projectiles are pretty slow and you could air counter them. Yeah, it's just not the greatest strategy. Actually, I want to show off that record opponent. I want to show off the fact that, like, is it this? That throwing projectiles maybe isn't the best. Actually, let me do this again. Record opponent, dude. Select to begin. And I realize I might not understand how to. Okay, he's dancing around. Okay, let's just have him do this. And air counters this. Okay. One more thing. Right, so like you can just, if you know what's happening, it's really not it's not that scary. So again, it's not even that big a deal for them to do it. So moving on, let's show off our last person. Let's show off Rogue. Yeah, let's show off Rogue. And Rogue is the most disappointing. She's probably one of my favorite characters, but she just doesn't have anything useful as far as I could tell. And I'd love, I feel like I am the only person digging into this stuff because I'm one of the few people that I think that still has the game. But like, Rogue has a legitimately good super in jumping 1+2. Like, it does a great chunk of damage for very little cost. And I think it never hurts to do. Oh, that's not it. It never hurts to do 5k unscaled. Boom. Right? And it allows you for slight follow-ups. In the air, Rogue has almost nothing. She has 1-2. Now she might have more. She has this here, but you can't do anything with that. It's a long-range stun. You get that by hitting forward 2. But like, she recovers too slowly to do anything. She doesn't have access to any of her specials, as far as I know. Like, she's got nothing. It almost feels like they had limited resources to actually flesh this part of these 6 characters out, and they just kind of let it rip. They were like, you can have this, you can have that, you can have that, and they do have like their base moves. Like, they do have like their standard grounded strings. But that's it. Like, Rogue has probably the least valuable tool set. Just because she has no special moves. The only thing she has that's a combo, is forward 2 or forward 4, which is an air seek, which she can't even take. She can't even use. So like it's just kind of unfortunate. She has no super moves, no special moves. Hitting this is her longest combo string. You can't even combo into forward 3 or forward 4 from that. Normally, like on the ground, that is a combo. You just can't do that. So I would say, like, in general, like, she has so much mobility in the air. She can do so much stuff from the air. Grab people, like she has so many things she can do. And flight literally is terrible for her. It's horrendous. The only time she can really combo is maybe something like maybe I think I was able to do something to Sentinel because he's big enough. She can catch him with Brown Sugar. If you guys don't know, Brown Sugar is her shirt or is this, but I think like he's the only one that's big enough to actually get caught. Yeah, like she's got it rough. So I would say, like, in terms of viability as using this strategy, I think Phoenix obviously is number one. She gets incredible utility off of any jab into stun because she gets a pseudo infinite, tons of meter off of a single touch. Like she actually could use this tech. And then after that is Storm. Storm does get useful stuff. She has access to her infinite. She has she's got access to her infinite. She has long range stunned and forward 2. She can zone competently by changing up some of her attacks. Like she has legitimate stuff. I guess Magneto's up right after that. He can actually Magneto can CCR with jump 1 or with flying 1, which I think is super cool. But like this is where it's at, dude. This is what she has empathy shell. And it only takes 2 meters in this version, which is kind of cool. So after that, it's Sentinel Beta. She does get access to some zoning tools, and she also has access to, a handful of strings. But why do you need them? You don't. Purely for zoning potential, I think. And then Rogue has almost nothing, which is a shame because I think over any of these guys, I think Rogue is more the flyer. Especially considering, her and Storm, I would say, are like the most prototypical, like you'd always see them in the air. So yeah. Oh, let's see if Phoenix has down back. No, she doesn't. She doesn't have her stance. So that was super cool. I hope you guys liked my intro to flying, and like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you learned something, if you enjoyed this, and bros, we'll talk later. See ya.